Welcome to a hair-raising new episode of the Demonic Compendium, the show where I discuss the mythology, design, and game history of your favorite Megami Tensei demons. It's been an absolute scorcher of a summer, and sometimes maybe you just need the right beverage to cool off. So grab your favorite Japanese yogurt drink, because today, we're talking about Alp. If you enjoy what I do here, please consider commenting, subscribing, or checking out the Patreon. Alright, let's get started. Alp, sometimes written as Alb, was a peculiar type of elf or fairy-like being in Germanic and Swiss folklore. Their early mythology described them as mostly harmless tricksters covered in black fur that sit on your chest while you're sleeping and drink your blood through your nipples, though their preferred drink of choice is the milk of nursing women.
Nice.
The idea of the Alp being a trickster that sat on your chest to disrupt your sleep and keep you from moving was basically a way to give a supernatural explanation to much more common phenomena like sleep paralysis or even sleep apnea. To avoid capture, Alps would wear a special hat called a Tarnkappe that allowed them to turn invisible. Despite Alp's appearance in Megami Tensei, most Alps were actually male, with the Mara, no, not that one, or Mar, yes, like Nightmare, being considered the more feminine versions of the creatures. While Alps were usually seen as magical elf-like beings that would pull pranks like tying your hair in knots or souring your milk, the spread of Christianity throughout these regions refitted them as much more demonic creatures associated with witchcraft and black magic. Alp's compendium entry from Persona 3 Portable refers to them as a succubus of German and Swiss folklore. Originated as beings which forged mystical crafts under mountains, they later came to be seen as demons that prevented people from sleeping, causing illness. Design-wise, Alp may initially appear to be a simple take on demons like Pixie or Huapo by just being a small fairy girl, but there's a bit more to it than that. We can see from Alp's design that her hair forms a horn-like shape and her bikini and leggings are actually made of thick black fur in a direct reference to her mythology. Which means, yeah, Alp is technically naked, just really, really hairy in all the right or perhaps wrong places.
Nice.
Yeah, on paper, it seems like a very cute and simple little demon, right? However, Kaneko had a very unique and almost unbelievable source of inspiration for this particular demon, and it's something that you could find at your local convenience store. If you live in Japan, I guess. Much more likely, something you'd find at your local Asian market. There's a popular beverage in Japan that you may be familiar with called Calpis, or as it's sometimes known in English-speaking regions, Calpico, because Calpis sounds like piss. And it's sort of like a watery, tart yogurt drink. I will admit, not a big fan of it myself. Now, right off the bat, let's just acknowledge that you can't spell Calpis without Alp. And even the milk and lactic acid in the beverage creates a nice parallel to the mythology that these creatures drink milk. But Kaneko went one step further and based Alp's design on the mascot of a series of Calpis commercials from the early 90s. These ads usually involved this goofy devil woman played by Goto Kumiko trying to steal Calpis from people only to wind up injuring herself. Goto's Calpis creature has virtually identical hair to Kaneko's Alp, and in this particular ad I found, even her hilarious green screen antics seem to match Alp's usual pose in the franchise, though I'm not sure if that exact detail was intentional or not. And yeah, I just think that's absolutely fascinating. What started as a cute reference in 1994 still lives on to this day, with Alp appearing in titles as recently as Persona 3 Portable's re-release in 2023 and Persona Q2 in 2019. So the next time you look at Alp, just remember, it's all from Kaneko having a crush on a soft drink mascot long before many of y'all were even born. Not that we get to look at Alp all that much these days, because as far as game history goes, I've got basically nothing. Alp only appears in a small handful of games, with her level rarely even being in the double digits, making her a pretty common early game foe when she does show up, like her first appearance in Shin Megami Tensei 2. While absent from the original Persona 3, Alp was introduced to the game through Fess as a member of the Lover's Arcana, and came back in Portable where she'll give you the skill card for Charmdy. However, Alp was one of the 12 personas removed in Persona 3 Reload, and she was essentially replaced with Silky, whom I've already done a video on. Aside from Reload, Alp was also absent from Personas 4 and 5, but did appear in the Persona Q duology, with her remaining as part of the Lover's Arcana in Shadow of the Labyrinth, and swapping to the Devil Arcana in New Cinema Labyrinth. In Devil Summoner Raido Kuzunoha vs. the Soulless Army, there's an Alp that you can talk to in the Dark Realm who gives you the tutorial information that you can't recruit demons during the full moon, and that scraping sound you're hearing is the bottom of the barrel. I think some stronger variations of Alp exist in the MMO title, Shin Megami Tensei Imagine, but that's true for a lot of demons in that game, and I don't believe any of them have any specific story or quest roles as far as I could tell. And look, I really tried to see if there was anything else worth mentioning with Alp. I tried checking if any mini-bosses in either Digital Devil Saga turned into Alp. I tried checking if she was part of any King Abaddon case files or had any special conversations in 9. I even tried checking if she was one of the personas used by Caroline and Justine during their boss fight in Persona Q2, because she would have been a good fit for their theme of using low-level personas to unleash powerful skills, but no. Alp is a demon I definitely wanted to talk about, far more for the unique history of her design, rather than anything distinct she brings to any of the video games. I think her appearances, while rarely meaningful or plot impactful, still manage to make a lasting impression. Like, her voice clips in the Raido games are some of the most memorable parts of that series for me. I swear to God, if Atlas ends up adding Alp to Reload through the Answer DLC, I am chucking the entire Demonic Compendium series out the window. I don't care how close we are to episode 100. And so there you have it, Alp, the small, shaggy Swiss sleepy time succubus strikingly similar to a soft drink symbol. Did I leave out something you thought was important? Was I just plain wrong about something? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to let me know who you'd like to see me talk about in future episodes. That's going to do it for this episode of the Demonic Compendium, and I will see you next time. But be careful while you rest that a demon doesn't take over your body.